No, this is not your show. This is my show.
I guess. Okay, fine.
We're going to continue with the Daily Toast. And me and Miss Shots, we did the toast. Now I'm about to get into it. So make sure you join the show. We're going to be talking about the GNJ number system. You might not line up with some of y'all number systems out there, but understand. There's enough room in the universe for all of us. Ain't that right, side?
Yes.
Alright, now get that chicken out of my face. I'm fasting. Peace. See you on the show.
Peace.
Peace, fam. Yo. Alright, so we need to talk about the Gye-Nyame number system. But, like I said, make sure you get on the challenge, fam. Get on that Nguza Saba challenge, yo. Push yourself. You know what I'm saying? Let's elevate our lives, right? It's an opportunity to elevate our lives. Yeah, let's do it like that. Cool. So right now I'm sipping on some of the future, what's gonna be called that Gye-Nyame Journey root beer. And family, it's incredible, man, because I be looking at some of these names and it's like you don't catch it until it's too later, right? It's called root beer, right? And the root beer that we're getting in the store is just like the ginger ale we're getting. It's not even ginger. If you look at the ingredients on ginger ale, it's not even ginger. You look into root beer, there's not even roots in it no more, right? So we're gonna make us some real root beer with serious, tremendous health benefits, and I'm gonna be offering that as well. That's gonna be the brown. I'm gonna do a brown. I'm gonna get a brown label for that one. I'm gonna get a brown cap for that. That'll be that it'll be called that root beer ambrosia, right? We got to hit all these markets, right? So, of course, I'm working on my day 6. This is day 6, man, and I'm like, 6 out of 21, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm struggling with some other stuff that happened on the outside, because the piece that I keep trying to tell you is that when you're trying to change your life, right? When you're trying to change your life, family, what starts to happen is that the other forces outside your life will start trying to interfere and start trying to get you to align back to the reality that's being presented for you. And I am being bombarded by reasons to realign myself back with the reality in which that I'm trying to get out of, because that reality is not culturally appropriate for me. It's not culturally healthy for me, right? So I need to go on and start making my turn and start lifting up my vibration like a lot of you out there are trying to do, right? So now, what we gonna talk about today, Brother Hatim? All right, I don't have a lot of notes, as y'all can see. I just got my 21 day Nguza Saba challenge thing for marking the day. The day is day 6. It is 7/1/17, and it is Kuumba. Kuumba, the day of creativity, a powerful day. Hold on. It's Kuumba. And y'all know y'all like, that's January. Well, I laminated it so I can keep it. But Kuumba, day of creativity, order, the hermetic, demotic principle is order. The hermetic law is cause and effect. Male name for this day is Kwame. Female name is Ama. All right. For those that might recognize Ama, the Ama is the name of the line of scobies that I use. Now, so one of the things I wanted to do to highlight creativity for this day is one, I wanted to talk about the Gye-Nyame journey number system, right? So first, I need to go through kind of the history of what Gye-Nyame journey is. Gye-Nyame journey is an idea that has been transforming my life for years. It's a continuous process, and a lot of us have to understand this, right? What we think we want a lot of times is not really the end. It is part of a process, right? So when I was younger, I'm talking about years ago. I'm 49 now, but when I was a boy back in Akron, I formed a little club called the Secret Society, right? Because I was reading books and stuff like that, and we used to get together and practice a little bit of martial arts, and a lot of stuff came up out of that, right? So I call it the Secret Society, right? Boom. And then when I got to college, I formulated MAC, Goddess of the Nile, right? MAC stood for Man Acquiring Courage and Knowledge, right? I always been about forming organizations, and with forming these organizations, I started running into concepts that I wanted the organization to stand on. So one of the first concepts that I found I wanted the organization to stand on was some stuff that I got from my church experience, because I used to spend time reading the Bible. My grandmother used to get up and cook breakfast for my grandfather every morning, right? So that he'd go to work. So they would get up and they would do like their little Bible study early in the morning. And if you wanted to eat, right, if you didn't just want cereal, right, you get up and you do Bible study with my grandparents, right? So my grandma would cook my grandma used to throw down, right? It'd be different, something different every morning. You know what I'm saying? I get the juice, so I would just get up early with them, and it started off as, in a sense, as a hustle, because I didn't want to get the cereal. I got tired of getting the leftover bacon and the leftover eggs, if it was anything left. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to beat everybody else because, not only was I in the house, but my cousin Alicia was in the house. My cousin Emily was in the house. Sometimes my sister would be in the house. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, hey, it's a competition to get down there to grab that bacon. You know what I'm saying? Early in the morning. Yeah, I used to eat bacon. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is that when I was doing that, I started reading. And as I started learning to really understand, I really started reading and really started digesting. So I just decided, fuck this. I'm going to read it from beginning to end. I'm not just going to do what the Bible study that they doing or what they're doing. I'm going to read. So I started reading, and one day I ran into a verse in Psalms 82, and that became a foundation because I didn't remember it. So when I got into college, you know what I'm saying, I remembered it, but I didn't remember where it was. So I had to read the whole book again when I was in college to find the verse. And that verse said this: God standing in the congregation of mighty judges amongst the gods. My fault, excuse me. Brain fart. Let me go back a little bit. All right, so now hip hop hit hard, and then I ran into an artist called Rakim. Rakim just affirmed that he was God. And then I started hearing the other artists, and as I started listening to the lyrics, they start talking about their God, and I started remembering a verse that I had studied that said something about gods and how we were gods and shit. But I couldn't really discuss this with my grandparents. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, wow. So you got these brothers my age running around calling themselves gods. Let me find out about this, right? So in building Mac and building Goddess of the Now, the foundation of it became that verse, Psalms 82, which goes, God standeth in the congregation of mighty and judges amongst the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Ashe. We don't say Selah, we say Ashe. You get it? Culturally appropriate, right? So I start over. God stand in congregation of mighty judges amongst gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Ashe. Defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hands of the wicked, for they know not, neither do they understand, for they walk on in darkness, while all of the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all you are children of the Most High, but you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt head all nations. Damn, every time I say that shit out loud, it just flowed through me. And this became the foundation verse around which I started developing, because this verse basically told me I was a God. Because first off, you listen, God stands in the congregation of the mighty. You know what I'm saying? God ain't amongst the weak. God is in the congregation of the mighty. I need me a congregation. So I've been trying to form me a congregation of the mighty since I was 16 years old. Right? Now, and I need people to understand that this comes out of the tradition, the church tradition that my grandparents put on me, which was put on me through a systematic process. Every Sunday, I had to systematically get up, get ready, and go to church. And then when I moved with my grandparents, systematically, they would get up every day and go through the same ritual together as a couple every day. And they allow their grandson to come in on this piece. And that information that I received there and what I learned there has influenced my life ever since. Now, this is one of the things I want to go back before I even get to the numbers. Family, listen, if you don't have systematic processes that your kids could partake in, you are robbing them. You are allowing them to get caught up into somebody else's system. My grandparents allowed me to get caught up in a system. And my grandparents made sure I got caught up in their system. Even if I didn't live with them, I still would have had to go to church until I was 18 years old. When I became grown, and I was able to earn my own way, that's when I was able to decide not to go to church. But as long as I was up under their roof and I was totally dependent on them, I had to apply myself to their system. And it wasn't bad. Because I hear a lot of people, I'm not one to dog the Christian mythos. I'm not one to dog the Muslim mythos. But I understand they have a place for people, right? And it rings true in some ways for other people that don't ring true for other people. And I understand that, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that this laid the foundation. And it told me that I was something bigger than I thought I was. I'm something bigger than the rest of the world was telling me. Right? So when I formed, MAC was stood for Man Acquiring Courage and Knowledge, MACK, and the Goddess of the Now, right? Which was the sister organization. I basically used the information that I received from a systematic process in that system. Right? Now, MAC and Goddess of the Now grew into the Underground Railroad, UGRR. The Underground Railroad, which actually is nationally documented. Y'all can look up and you can find scenes of documentary that was done on the Underground Railroad on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's called Making Peace. You know what I'm saying? Brother Hatim and the Underground Railroad type thing. But the piece that I'm saying is that was made possible by a systematic process that I had been put through by my grandparents and my mom. Because my mom enforced my grandparents' system because she's, she grown. She ain't had to go to church. She go to church on holidays. But y'all getting up and getting out of here. So I would have to go there, and while I'm sitting in church, I'm reading, right? Boom. So I formed Magna Goddess of the Now when I got into college. Magna Goddess of the Now, boom, something happened, and the next transition was the Underground Railroad, where I formed the Congregation of the Mighty. And the foundation of that was Psalms 82, right? And then from Psalms 82, we got into the numbers. I got into the numbers, and because I got into the numbers and I started using the numbers, I was able to help other people understand the power of numbers. Now let's talk about it, the GNJ, because after the Underground Railroad, there became a formation between the Underground Railroad and the 35th Dynasty, right? And then from there, I went to Simba and got introduced to Simba. And when I came back from Simba, I formulated Gye-Nyame Nation Builders Club, right? And from Gye-Nyame Nation Builders Club, we got Gye-Nyame Journey, which is where we are today. So now, what I'm talking with y'all about is a process that may be older than most people that's listening. This is a process that I've been doing for years, and those that are in doubt, you can check with anybody in my circle, anybody that has known me for any period of time, and you will see that I have been consistent about what I've been doing. I haven't just been talking this black consciousness shit. I've been living it for years. You understand? I put my life on the line for it. I have been building and doing things with this for a very long time. So what you see here is a result of a systematic process that was started by my grandparents, and then from one where I set up for myself. Now, part of that systematic process was learning the number system. Everybody that came into Gye-Nyame had to learn a set of questions, right? The answers to the questions. They had to learn the questions and be able to answer the questions. So now we go say, what is a warrior? You know what I'm saying? Like if I come here, Cleve. What's a warrior?
One who is experienced or involved in conflict.
All right, thank you, sir. So all of our warriors have to learn this stuff, but this is a long history, right? So we have the first 7 questions, which are basically almost the newest questions, right? It starts off at question 7, where I started with this. It go, what are you on? Underground Railroad. Where you headed? To the east. What's in the east? Freedom. What's freedom? Peace of the spirit, mind, and body. What's peace? Harmony and order. Do you have principles? Yes. How many? 7. Why 7? Because 7 is the universal number of study, rest, and perfection. What are they? Umoja, Kuch, Chaglia, Uji, Mojama, Nia, Kuumba, and Imani. That right there, my friend, is over 20 years old. So this whole Nguzo Saba challenge piece is not no shit that I just came up with last year in 2016, right? It's part of a process that I have been personally working on, not only with me, but with other people, right? One of the questions goes, can you count? You count the numbers, right? So now, let's get into the number system. First, what is a number? A number is, all right, we use numbers to count with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all the numbers. And then you have 0, which is in a sense a whole deep, whole nother piece. But the numbers not only represent the number of something, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it also represents a vibration, right? A rhythm that things are in. And you can categorize the world by the rhythm in which they're in. And if you understand the vibration of something, you can control it. right? When you start understanding the vibration of things, when you start really understanding, you get down to the root. Because one of the sayings from the African Openness to the Tree of Life is, in the true name is the essence. Like, we got all these other names on shit, but when you really get down to the true name of something, or the true vibration of something, you are able to control it. Right? Some of you that are into science fiction or into fantasy, there was a movie where they talked about, I can't remember the movie, where they talk about, when you know the true name of things, you can control them. There's whole things of magic about being able to know the true name of things. When you know the true name of things, you are able to manipulate them. When you understand the name represents the vibration. Now, one of the questions that I often that I asked last night to the people that are on GNJ, you got to go.
Why?
Because move. One of the things that I asked people last night, who were you before you were you? I know a lot of y'all are just thinking about that shit. Who were you before you were you? See, because if your answer to that is nothing or no one, you are caught in the paradigm of West Asian society, because they want you to believe that your life started off as a damn accident. But yet they want you to believe in a God that has constructed everything. Right? You know what I'm saying? Part of their argument is between each other. The universe is random and blah blah blah. Another piece is intelligent design. So if it's intelligent design, then you are part of the damn design. I'm just putting that out there, right? Which means that you have all now, I'm taking it from the other angle too. Now, if it's intelligent design, then you were designed into the system, so you're supposed to be here and you have a purpose, which is beautiful. But if it's chaotic and it's just energy randomly creating, right? You have always been here. In both cases, you was either planned for or you have always been here, depending on which way you want to look at the universe. If it's a chaotic universe, and you know what I'm saying, and that energy is out there, and according to the laws of science, law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one state to another. So if it's intelligent design, you were designed into the system, which means that from the beginning you were already planned for. You was already created at the beginning. And if we go to the chaotic theory of the universe, right? You have always existed. So both cases, you a bad motherfucker. Or fatherfucker, whichever, however you want to take it, or goat fucker, or whatever your preference. You're bad. And not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Right? Now, what numbers do? Numbers set vibrations. Numbers represent vibration. Numbers are ideas or constructs that we put together to help us get an understanding of the universe. Now, I know a lot of y'all saying, but we created the gods and the goddesses for that. And we created the one God for that. See, but this is the piece. When you look at the number system, you find out, and you study the history of the number system, you start recognizing the fact that deities rest under numbers. So ultimately, when people be like, mathematics is the language of the universe, it's real, family. You can find, for every number I give you, if you do your research, you can find a deity. You can find groups of deities that you could put up under that number. Now, the religion, just like numbers, was something that was designed to help us bring an understanding to the universe. Alright, so now, numbers are just basically labels for vibrations. If you understand the vibration and you're able to get that vibration, you're able to manipulate it. You're able to control it. You're able to do things that other people would just perceive as magic. Root word of magic, magi, wise man, one with understanding beyond others. All right, so let's look at this number system. So, of course, the number system come out the number 0, even though 0 may have been in many cultures the last number to be created. 0 is the unknown, the hidden. That sound familiar? Amen. 0 is a number of the hidden. Amen. The hidden, right? That unseen force, that influences all. At the same time, it is the greatest and the lowest. The highest and the lowest in the number system. What do you mean, brother? I tell me, if we look at the total reality of numbers and how numbers go out, we have negative numbers, we have positive numbers. We have numbers going to the right, we have numbers going to the left, we got numbers going up, we got numbers going down, we got numbers going in angles. All these vibrations springing out. But they all spring out from 0. So at the same time, 0 is the lowest of all the so-called positive numbers, but is the highest of all the negative numbers. There's no negative number higher than 0. Now, let's look at the other reality about numbers. In between each number, there's an infinite amount of numbers. So each number represents a form of infinity. Damn, Brother Hatem. And each number can manifest itself in many different ways. 1, 10, 19, 28, 37, 46, 55, 64, 73, 82, 91 are all the number 1. Patterns, systems, right? And we go all the way up to 100, 109, 208, 307. So 1 manifests itself in an infinite amount of varieties, right? But it all comes down to the basic vibration of the number 1. You understand what I'm saying? So we got 0. 0 represents, 0 is like that hidden, that womb of creation out of which everything flows. All right? Positive, negative, up and down. Everything comes from that void. Okay? So 0 represents the void. Right? And when you, and in a lot of ways, we have to recognize when I ask you, who were you before you were who you are now? Who are you? You come from the void. You understand what I'm saying? And you come back into your family line. That's why I call us generational people. We go back to the void, which in a sense can also be equated with heaven, or what some people call heaven, or paradise, or whatever you want to call it. That's when you return back to 0, and then you come back out. All right, now, 1. What is 1? 1 is interdependence. Now, every number has positive aspects and negative aspects. So when we look at 1, we look at interdependence. A good example for you to focus on for interdependence is when you go outside and you look at a tree. A tree has its roots in the earth, has its branches up in the sky. It receives sunlight from the sun. It receives water. And then you got all types of life that's surviving off this tree. Interdependence. You got a whole interdependent system around that tree. We are all operating on this planet interdependently, although we don't believe that. Now, the whole negative side of interdependence is that whole independent shit that we get caught on. Now, independence has its place, but we always got to recognize the power of interdependence. That's 1. 2 is cooperation. All right, boom. Of course, the opposite is not cooperating, right? It's a disruptive motherfucker, right? Then we got 3. What's 3? 3 is communication. Then we got discommunication. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 3 is the number of communication. It helps you when you see something with the number 3 on it, you know that it's about communication. Number 4 is order, right? Make sure the orderly process. And all these numbers work together because they build to the next phase, interdependence. The void builds to interdependence. Interdependence builds to cooperation. Cooperation builds to communication. Communication allows order. Order. When you have order, you can move to freedom. When you have freedom, freedom is 5. When you have freedom, you can move to family. Right? Because you can't really have a family if y'all not free. Let me say that you can't really have a family if y'all not free. 7, study, rest, and perfection. After you have a family, it enables you to be secure enough so that you could study, rest, and perfect yourself. Because when you got a group of people working together, it makes it easier for you to be secure. So you could grow in knowledge. So 7, if you look at 7, 7 is looking back on all the other numbers. 7, 6 go this way. 4 kind of do the same thing. It looks that way. 7 is looking back. Study, rest, and perfection. 8 is power. So after you study, rest, and perfect yourself, guess what you get to move to? Power. A lot of us want to move to power, and we ain't following the steps. 9 is completion. So after we have the power, we become a complete being. Alright? Complete being. We're able to look back over all the steps, and we're able to pull on each one of the steps to get exactly what we want. Now, each one of these numbers set up a pattern that you could follow. You know what I'm saying? And just by understanding and just studying the numbers a little bit more in depth, right? And having discussions with people about the numbers and their effect, it increases your ability to intuit certain things, because when how your intuition communicates with you is not necessarily through pictures or words, it's through symbols. I had a dream about geese. How many geese was it? Oh, it was three geese. 3. What's 3? 3 is the number of communication. Okay, what's a geese? What geese fall under? What number geese fall up under? Boom, boom, boom. It gives you a way to order your reality. Right? Nothing that you ain't like, hell, it even gives you pattern for your days. Not that you have to live by that, but goddamn, it's a system. So, yo, this is Brother Hot Tim. You have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? This is just one of the steps in Gye-Nyame journey. Right? We build, fam. You know what I'm saying? We build for those that take it seriously. But I have to take it seriously because no one will ever, nor should they, take more seriously your shit than you. Take mine very seriously, right? So this is Brother Hot Tim saying, have a great Kuumba. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Gye-Nyame Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there.